Previously on the Gnorpit chapters, the party had been abducted, taken by Thorn, the leader of the Blood Rose gang. After a tense night, one of your party members, Clack, was beaten to death by Thorn, and the rest of you were sold to the Exalters, where you came to in the middle of the burning fields of the Fam land. Saved by none other than Councillor Patton, you got out of your cages, and Councillor Patton told you that once you had finished business here, to come and see him in Port Janali, and he rode off into the night. You protected the immediate you protected the estate from the immediate threat and spent the night in the Fam estate, where you all remembered the person you had lost just nights before. The cart with your equipment and Clack's body had been taken by the Exalters, so you planned to attack them. It was to be a simultaneous attack, with the main forces distracting the Exalter encampment, and then you sneaking into the center to attack the Exalter Paladin Dansk. You met up with a woodland dweller, a turtle by the name of Mudgraw, who knew where the encampment was and took you to them. On the outskirts of this encampment, you were spotted, and in the split moment, the decision was made to go in and wait for the backup. The battle quickly fell sour as Dobrogost was not in his right state, and the Exalter Paladin appeared in your backline with all your squishies. Taking on almost the entire encampment alone, along with an Exalter Paladin, strained even the most trained of you all. The battle was looking to be lost, and stood only 3 people: Kalantine, Mudgraw, and Nildan. But the forces arrived eventually, distracting the rest of the camp, creating chaos, and the Exalter Paladin escaped. You began to heal up your remaining friends, and that is about where we're going to pick up.
Road to seduce Dansk.
So we'll start it with Dobrogost. Yeah, you're currently on your knees right now, having just patched up Bibimbap to stop her from bleeding out. Looking around you, there is almost a small hill of bodies, Exalter, soldiers, and knights. Some of your just barely conscious friends swimming out of those bodies. I believe everyone is conscious, bar Bibimbap at the moment. As you all take a moment to just breathe after that intense battle that could have gone severely bad. You hear the distant sounds of battle from the south of the encampment, where the Fam and Free Guard forces have engage the rest of the camp. Exalter soldiers are running for their lives or running to help the battle. It seems that this battle is won, even though Paladin Dansk has escaped. What do you do?
Well, I see that the Gel, far more trained in magical healing of people, is now here to look after Bib. I'm going to go over to the car, look for my stuff, and also look for a nice strong drink.
All right. As you pull yourself to your feet, your muscles are aching. You're cut and bruised. You took more damage this fight than you usually do, or at least it's affected you more than usual. Especially without the presence of your bear spirit. You stumble over to the car and you see the battle in the distance, being pretty one-sided, so there's no cause for concern there, at least. You walk up to the car and you see all your stuff splayed about. You see your big maul and your coin purse and your other friend's stuff. But that's not what your eyes focus on, as your eyes focus on the wrapped up body of Clack. Your footsteps approach you from behind as Mudgraw walks up. You sense the presence of a lingering spirit here, Mudgraw. What do you do?
Nothing. Just take note of it, I guess. I guess it's the same one. Is it the same one that I felt earlier?
Make an insight check. Right. It is a spirit that you felt before. You felt just not the spirit itself, but the attachment the spirit had to this new group around you.
Mm-hmm.
And now what you're sensing is the spirit itself, as Dobrogost is kind of standing there. You begin to see the spirit form and border into this world, or the border ethereal. It is a humanoid with a beak and a pair of wings, and you see that its mouth is moving, trying to speak to Dobrogost. It's clear Dobrogost doesn't see the spirit, and the words of the spirit aren't coming out. You would know from your experience that sometimes, even if a spirit seems like it's not talking, they could be like trying to communicate something, but that communication doesn't reach to this world. There's a block. But you can tell the spirit has a strong connection to Dobrogost and is trying to communicate something to him.
Can I tell what it is?
With that high insight, I'll say you do start to pick up on its meaning. You can't hear it yourself, but without the use of a spell or another form of communication ability, you see it's gesturing to one of the piles of equipment. You see a small kind of bag with a kind of decorated face on it. You see a short sword and a bunch of stuff. You gather that this could be one of their equipment. You see it gesturing to that stuff and then to Dobrogost. Maybe offering that to him.
I see. Okay. I'll just make a note of it, but not say anything just yet.
Okay. And from what you knew earlier and now, there is a reason the spirit's lingering. But without further investigation, you're unsure why. The rest of you kind of gather around the car and your stuff is there. But I would like you all to roll 10d10, please.
Oh.
So that's /r space 10d10. Okay. The amount you get is the amount of gold that is missing.
Okay. So ones are good.
Yeah, ones are good in this case, yes.
Paul rolled 3 nat 10s and 2 nat 1s.
Easy. Game is easy, lol.
That's just a single gold, is it?
Oh. What did I say?
Minted.
I'll roll for Terra. 52.
Rolls a 1,000 somehow.
He's in debt. There's just an IOU in his money pouch.
That was actually kind of a big hit for him.
It's like a credit card bill.
Oh no, it wasn't. He's got platinum pieces. Never mind. You've all kind of congregated now around your stuff, kind of picking the stuff back up. Guillaume picking up Dawnstar. Calantine and her father Savril are there just kind of watching the battle that's kind of now finishing up. And you see Winfred and the Free Guard captain approaching. Winfred's glaive, you see, he's got blood on it. As he shakes it off. He gets down off of the horse that he's on and walks up to you, Guillaume, and asks you, "Is everything alright? Things don't seem to have went to plan."
I kind of wipe the blood that's probably covering my face. I just kind of whip it onto the ground. I'm just like, I've come to expect that these things never go to plan, Master Winfred.
The Free Guard captain is still on his horse, kind of makes a noise at that, kind of a scoff. And he looks around the battlefield and says, "By the gods, was this all you?" He
my
gestures to the-
my mind cast back to losing half my health from Bip and Bap. Like, not exactly me.
Winfred.
Barbecued ones are because of the little one.
Oh, Bimbab's still unconscious at the moment. Winfred says, and Paladin Dansk.
He made like a Exalter and turned.
Shit. Well, that's a loose end. Well, at least he doesn't have his forces. The battle's now at an end, and prisoners are being taken, and the camp's starting to get turned over as well. You guys are just kind of stood in the center. What you doing?
Can I suggest to Cam that he heals Bib so that he can wake up?
Okay, I'll do that.
Just having a snooze.
Goes back to unconscious.
Is there Gio?
Yes?
Is there a number I need to heal Bit by for her to wake up?
1.
Okay, 4. I will use 4 lay on hands.
Okay.
That was what I meant to say, not just the number 4.
Okay.
4.
Sorry. It's number 1. Fuck!
Does Max body have anything covering it, or is it just covered?
Thorn's people, the Bloodrose gang, have nicely wrapped him up. It's like it's like thick woolen blankets.
Could you get your hand in there? Excuse me?
Well,
Precise.
You can pickpocket a corpse.
Not exactly.
Something far more suggestive lays in mind for this corpse.
He did. He didn't need it anymore.
you do see Clack's stuff like to the side. And the last time Clack was alive, it's not like he had stuff on him. So the stuff is to the side.
He would like to try and just pluck a few feathers.
Oh my
and
god, okay.
pop them.
Alright, you pluck a few feathers. No roll needed for that one, other than a moral roll, honestly. In plucking the feathers, you feel the larger feather. One of the larger feathers from the Ferzinosaur that he had kind of braided into his own.
Oh.
Do I see his boomerangs?
Born took his boomerang. That was one of the items that she took. Winfred says, well, you can go back to the estate and rest now. We can do the rest from here. Savril steps forward and says, yeah, I think that's the best for everyone. Big meal, warm hearth, probably a lot of alcohol.
Can I ask if there's like anywhere, like particularly, sacred or like religiously sentimental that we could try burying, like giving Clack a proper burial on the estate?
Several thinks for a moment. There's a nice pond.
Can we bury him next to the tavern?
Have a drink or anything to eat.
I feel like that's what he would want.
That
Can we just bury him in a crate of ale?
yeah, put him in a barrel like he did to Emma.
If it's really strong spirit, it might preserve the body.
We pickle him.
Oh my god. You've defeathered him, you're planning to pickle him.
Fucking, you just sell it as snake oil or cockroach.
What the fuck am I listening to?
Some cock-a-leaky.
Is his spirit still there that we can't see?
It's kind of faded at this point.
All you see is ghostly hands flipping us off.
Is this cart making its way back to the estate?
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
Neldan's going to climb up and just collapse onto the...
Alright.
Onto Clank's body, squelching as he gets comfortable.
I'll have a little snooze.
Well, Nildan's up there. Would you like to share with the rest of the party the small change?
Yeah.
The small Nildan change
Wait, what?
that you made.
Oh, you mean the surname?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if anyone ever actually knew my original surname, but it's now Hyde.
Right,
Oh, Pine Barrow was there originally. Yeah.
so what's it now? Pinehide.
Formaldehyde?
Hallowhide. Oh, that's what it is.
We talked before
Yeah,
about why it's bad
confused.
to pickle a person, but can you pickle an Aarakocra?
We're not pickling.
Aarakocra are people, oh my god.
We're not pickling.
No, they're not. They're birds.
Shut
Oh,
up, Yam.
Back again.
Alright, Neldan gets up in the
Forgot
car,
Roland had the last name.
and eventually a draft horse is brought over and the cart starts to move, and you begin making your way back to the estate. Is there any conversation on the way there or not?
I think Gail's just gonna go for a nap. She's tired.
You in the car as well? Are we all in the car?
No, I'm just gonna have a nap at the camp. See you guys later. Well, yeah,
In
in the
with all
car.
the pile of dead bodies.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna walk
say
next
to
to the car.
Calanthian and Savro, I'm gonna just say, maybe we ought to look into some new estate. Jokingly.
They laugh and say, well, if if worse comes to worse, we have that place in Dorsia, so we can always go to the summer home.
Neldan head pops up.
We'll need to have a chat about our summer home.
What's your summer home again?
Dorsia.
Dorset.
Sounds like a nice place.
Dorset, yeah.
Savril says, why, what's up with the summer home?
We may have an occupant that we're not aware of.
Raccoons?
They like look at each other. Well, Seeker Gerard is down there at the moment.
Hmm. Perhaps one day I'll make my way to the summer house. But I'm not. I do not talk of Seeker Gerard.
There is an awkward pause.
I kind of like give an eye as like you know who kinda.
Yeah. They don't really have a response to that, and just kind of like chill for the rest of the thing. Clantine was a little assaulted as well, so she's a little beat up. You eventually make your way past the burned fields and homes of the farmland to the Black Iron Gate, the northern gate of the Defam estate, which is opened. And you ride through past where there is now tents set up by the worker homes where displaced farmers and other folk are situated. As you kind of move through, a kind of crowd starts to form at the sides, and you hear someone shout out, "Did you get them?" Do you respond?
What?
I don't.
Okay.
No.
Without a response, another person shouts out, "Well, what's happening?"
We beat the camp. We beat the guys at the camp.
Another person shouts, "What about the paladin?"
Right here.
Finish him.
Make a charisma check.
I mean, I did just get up from a nap. Button. Not a saving throw, a regular check. Ta-da!
Okay. You see, like, the adults get grumpy, but, like, a few children kind of laugh at that.
I kind of stand up properly, rub my eyes, and I'm like, yeah, no, Paladin Dance got away.
There's
Fortunately.
immediate, like, whispers and talks amongst the crowd. As the car and procession makes its way to the main courtyard between the barracks and main estate and guest estate. You were invited into the main estate by Savril. He says, "We can go in, put our feet up, rest. I'll have the cooks whip some lunch up for you."
I'd like nothing better.
You walk into the main estate, and the first thing you hear, Guillaume, is a scream of pain from upstairs.
I'll turn to Savro and I'll say, Is it happening?
He, like, looks at you, and, like, immediately his face is white, and he just doesn't even respond before he just starts, like, running up the stairs. What did the rest of you do?
I'll follow him.
Right.
I say, I hope she doesn't make that noise for too long.
Wow.
I'm just not in the mood.
Incredible.
Bob's just not in the mood.
Oh my god.
Screaming. He's like, I got a headache.
You're like Faber Simpson. You walk in and you just walk back.
Father Simpson.
I don't remember.
Father Simpson!
Grandpa Simpson.
What corruption of Christmas is that?
Father.
He's Homer's dad. He's the father of Homer Simpson.
Father Simpson. Oh boy, Gio.
It's been a day. It's been a day.
Oh my god.
Recovering from that, what are the rest of you doing? Is like Savril and Guillaume kind of start jogging up the stairs.
I feel like I would be interested in attending to try and like aid medically, but also I am tired and I've expended all my healing and I've never really helped with childbirth, so I don't think it'd be very helpful there.
Yeah, it's not your area of expertise.
I'm gonna stay out of it.
You can join in as a dude of the Joybringer and just start handing out drinks to everyone at the booth.
Start handing out flyers. Like, yeah, the good words of
Start trying to
Lyra, the
get a game of Pass
Joybringer.
the Parcel going. You put on some music.
I was
you're
thinking
"Let's
more
bring
Cam
some
would just
joy."
be playing a kazoo and like honking horns or something.
See, that's exactly what Cameron would do. Like at childbirth, because I would bring my custom pocket kazoo. Just go.
As you're in this moment of standstill, Kalantine kind of turns to the rest of you, kind of like Calibar flies in the stomach. She says, the rest of you feel free to make the guest manor your home. I'll send the cooks over. And she just like immediately turns and then starts jogging up the stairs.
And I immediately turn and head for the guest home.
Right. And Terai does as well. Reaching the top of the stairs, one of the maids kind of like hears the commotion at the stairs and like comes and meets you there, seeing that it's the three of you. She looks at Savril and he just like nods and like just walks by. She says, please, people are taking seats in the other room. We want her room to be as clear as it can be. And you head off to that kind of side room where you see your mother waiting and like different house of staff. Yeah. And Calantine and Savril go into the other room. Did you take a note of what your aunt's name was?
I don't think you ever mentioned it.
Was it Delphine?
It was something similar to his last name.
Yeah, so it was Delphine de Femme.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So as you're sitting in that room, your mother hands you a glass of wine.
I swirl it and have a little smell at it, and making some small chat and just say, when did she start?
Not too long after you left. Thankfully for her, the maids are saying it's not going to be too long. How did your attack go?
It was some bloody business.
As war often is.
I take a drink, and I say, as Juarez.
Is there a parking dispute happening on the state? What the fuck is happening out there?
I think a car is giving birth.
Apparently.
Someone's taxi or something. I don't really know.
Oh, god damn it. Fair.
You just hear this noise and you start to think Gel's being serious about what he would do in the event of a child.
He's got his kazoo out.
You see Gale getting pushed out by an army of maids saying, "Go away, clean."
I just like dejectedly turn around and walk down the stairs.
He's got ceremonial Joybringer nose on.
Ceremonial Joybringer clothes.
He's got like the kind of clown shoes that honk as you walk, and it's like very sad as he awkwardly honks down the hallway.
Flower at the maids escorting him out.
As he goes around the corner, the honking speeds up.
It's like, what did I do? All I did was throw a pie.
What of Paladin Dansk?
He saved his hide. He ran away.
That could be good. It could be bad. Our family is in a big moment of uncertainty. Just as another member of family is coming to meet us.
Who are we expecting?
If it is a boy, Maxime de Femme. If it is a girl, it is Lucille de Femme. Paul, can you roll a D2 for me, please?
Roll gender.
His mum whips out a Glock and shoots Gale.
This is a gender reveal roll.
The house explodes.
The house explodes. Okay. As you're waiting in anticipation, eventually there's a quick knock at the door, and the maids kind of guide the both of you through, as you see wrapped up in a blanket being held by your Aunt Delphine, your Uncle Savril to her right, and your cousin Calantine to her left, just kind of looking down upon Lucille de Femme.
I'll go over to Savro and like, can I put my hands on his shoulders and give him a shake, and I'll be like, another one, eh, Savro?
He's just got this like stupid smile on his face that is like one of those that you just cannot wipe off. And he just kind of like nods. He's in like a state of like he's almost high in a way. As we pull off from this nice family moment to the guest estate, where the rest of the party is currently situated in the kind of living room area. The hearth is on, so there's warmth, big plushy cushions. Terai goes to his room, and lunch is brought to you all. Basically, a fry up essentially is brought to you.
Nice.
As you all just dig in immediately. Well, most of you dig in immediately. Eventually, Guillaume finds his way back to the party.
At the dinner, is it okay if I basically tell like announce that I'm gonna like eat some of the food, wash probably like blood off me and things, and then like depending on when Pack is getting buried, like stand vigil. People sometimes do. Take the first night's vigil, just stand there, like ceremoniously and sad. Because I think it's what like he would have done in his tribe if someone had died.
Right. You all have this moment as a party, alone, now kind of rested up. You have a short rest, so you can use your hit die to get your health up if you'd like.
How does that work again? I just roll a d10.
You roll as many hit die as you want. You have a number of hit die equal to your level.
Then I can expend those every long rest?
You gain half of your hit die back every long rest.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'm going to use half of them.
Right. So if you use all of them, you'd have half of them back in the next long rest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sweet. What else did you get back over a long rest? Anything else?
Over a short rest.
Short rest? Short rest, sorry.
Some abilities you can get back. I don't know, you'd have to look at your class.
Does that count towards decreasing exhaustion?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
That would be a long rest. But you all have this few hours to discuss amongst yourself.
What time in the day is it, Gio?
It's afternoon, probably around 1 or 2-ish. Possibly closer to 3.
I'm going to spend the afternoon getting my gear back in order. Just spending some quiet time, I think.
Alright.
I haven't gotten... So I haven't gotten my new armor set yet from Portunale, but I'm going to just kind of work on the splint mail for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Polish it up, kind of make sure that the tabard and all the heraldry's still fine, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of get my gear back in order.
What about everyone else?
Guillaume is going to call for a maid, and I'm gonna ask the maid to have another set of like Guillaume's clothes that he usually wears, to be readied in his room for him for the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because Guillaume has been wearing the same clothes since he met the party. They are destroyed nearly.
Easily done. The maid goes off and does that.
Yeah, Dob's just going to clean up maybe before for the while before dusk. Maybe try and meditate in the woods nearby to try and see why he can't connect to his spirit animal or something.
All right.
Try and get close to nature and sort his head out a bit.
Yeah. Taking a moment to meditate. Make a wisdom check, not a saving throw, just a wisdom check.
So that's just the big ones on the side.
Yeah. Kind of. The famous state is very wooded, so it's easy enough to kind of find a quiet spot to yourself and just kind of kneel in the grass and just kind of try and like search within yourself, why your spirit is blocked, and you think back to the dreams that you've had, and the last one specifically, before the one before you went to attack the Exalters.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself what that voice was, or who that voice could have been that spoke to you. Was it the Doombringer? Was it someone else? It's very... It gets your energy back up. The meditation's like... After it, you feel kind of better. But you do not feel any more connected to your spirit side.
Okay.
Eventually, once you're all ready, Winfred kind of comes up to the guest house and says to you all, Lady Defam has given her blessing to bury your companion by the oak tree and pond if you would like.
That would be. I'm trying to think of a pleasant word for it. Nice. We'd be grateful for that. There we go. That's
Okay. He nods and kind of walks off, and you get the sense that it's at your guys' pace now how soon that happens.
Should we do that this evening?
Yes.
A question, Gio. How old will Seeker Gerard be in his... Because he would have been the older brother of Guillem's father.
He was older than your father. I can't
But
think
he's-
of a specific...
Like early
That's
early
me.
to middle 60s.
I think it's likely a little less than that. He's probably more likely to be in his 50s, probably, like early to mid 50s.
Alright. Cool.
And you would know that since that night, he hasn't been at the estate. He's been down in the kingdom, mostly in Dorsia. And when Winfred's talking to you, you do notice the scar across his face that had been given to him by Gerard that night. As a part of a reaction to what had happened. You don't know the full details behind that, but you know that scar was given to him by your uncle. So you all kind of decide to do it in the evening. We were requested to meet with Lady Defam at a certain point, so you can either have the funeral ceremony before that or after that.
After?
I think
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Dob might look at Gel,
Just get
being
something
like-
flies away.
in holy man sort of thing, and be like,
Hmm?
what do the gods think about, like, is there a better time to do something like a burial? Like, he's the closest thing we got to a priest, so I just look at Gel.
Yeah, I suppose, but also, I'm a priest of a specific god.
Yeah.
I guess, can I roll a religion check? Do I know what, like,
Yeah.
way would be best and time of day would be best for Clack to be buried?
Roll a religion.
Okay.
When it comes to the festival, when someone passed, which was either like in a bandit raid or by old age, it depended on the person. Some people had requested to be burned, and you did that like either with a kind of a rowboat in a lake or by a pyre. Usually that's the way most people in the festival say they want to go, because the festival is a moving entity. You can't bury them and like move them. So in that way they say like my spirit is with the festival in that way, and my body is no longer of this world. You've had elves before. Elves have a very specific funeral ritual where the bodies returned to Fair Isle and planted in the forest, or a forest of memories. Humans, most humans and dwarfs have the ritual of burying or being put in tombs. You don't know specifically what Aarakocra culture is like. The true Aarakocra culture is very rooted in like woods, where woods meet a mountain. So you don't know specifically how Aarakocras bury or deal with their dead. So you imagine either a pyre of burning or burial is probably your two best chances. And in terms of the time, I can only imagine that some people are spiritualistic about when sunrise and sundown occurs, the kind of passing over hours of the day. I imagine there are people that see that as a better time to celebrate the dead, as the spirit can pass over.
Yeah. So,
Sunset?
sunset sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know. I suppose the best way to do it would be to put it to a vote. What do we think? Burial or cremation?
Cremation.
I think a cremation too.
Everyone else?
Yeah, I think
I'm no expert, so I'll take Gel's opinion.
I'm just thinking, now that I think of it, Hill Tribe giants, they probably have big cremation pyres, so I agree.
Okay.
Fire.
There's a small
If only-
excitement in you.
If only we had a match. Can anyone like this?
And you just fireball the pyre. That's a good point, Bimbap. Eventually, not Savril himself, he's indisposed, but someone comes by and requests the return of the loaned wand that you'd used in that battle.
It has no
Oh,
charges.
yeah.
You hand over the wand of lightning bolts.
Good stuff, that.
The kind of butler who clearly knows nothing about magic, just kind of like, I imagine it is.
It's a stick.
I tell him you should try it just once before you give it back.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh,
Are you crazy? I'll lose my job.
There's just a blank stare at you before they leave. And they head. Mudgraw, I'd say, as a person who's spent a lot of time in the outside in the past, however long time, it's weird being in these large, noble persons' estates. Such large rooms, they feel odd to you, I would say. But you say to the staff what you would like to do, and they set two people off to set up a pyre. While you head to the main estate to talk with Lady Defam. You meet in the kind of smaller dining room. You've not been in the large one yet, the rest of you, but the kind of smaller dining room that was used for breakfast and lunch. And she kind of, Lady Defam sits at the end of the table and gestures to you all to sit down. She says, I hear that you all caused quite a bit of damage.
You could say that.
It's also clear to me that you took a bit of damage, and we at the Farm Estate thank you very much for the exertion that you have taken in the name of justice. We cannot offer reward, but we are in your we are grateful. In terms of your further proceedings, what is your next plan?
A very good night's rest.
Suppose the only other lead we really have to go on with everything we were up to beforehand was seeing Councillor Tatum before. So I suppose the next port of call would be Port Janelli, or at least that's my vote.
It is true that without the councillor, we wouldn't have been able to defend our estate, so I have sent a letter of gratitude to him. But what of Paladin Dansk? Do you have any further plans of pursuing, finding, or ignoring? She looks to all of you. I know it's been a long time, but I do prefer conversations to have two sides.
I ask, like, does she think that Dansk would be likely to be a threat to the estate again in the future?
We have had word from the Exalters. Paladin Dansk acted alone and utilized the soldiers he had at his command wrongfully. So, in that regard, we're not likely to be overrun by black fashion.
I'm gonna say I'm assuming Gam's mother doesn't know of the deal that me and the party made with them.
You have not yet mentioned that to your mother.
I'm gonna say that if we align ourselves with Patton now, it won't just be a rogue exalter. We'll be back on their hit list. What we decide to do with Patton, whatever ends up happening, we need to break the spine of the order.
But
or else my family will never be free of their harassment. And I then turn to my mother and I say, I had made a deal with them to hand over Patton. Our house would be relieved of all charges or any pending investigations for Calanthine and myself. But it seems we're now indebted to Patton. It's a precarious position we're in.
It is true.
The Exalters didn't seem too convinced that Patton was involved in the cult after he wasn't at the island. So I don't know if that deal is still in place.
If you want me to be honest, they would have probably been drooling at finding a new excuse to come after me and mine.
It seems you find yourselves between two sides on the edge point where choosing one side is no return for the other. Of course, Seeker Guillaume, your actions do affect and have affected our family. Your family. I recognize that it is not my place to tell you what to do, but to trust your own judgment, keeping yourself and your family in mind. Councillor Patton has never been a fan of the Exalters. The Exalters have never been a fan of us. Councillor Patton was once an ally of your father's.
my mind cast back to like finding our crest at the mansion. But I'm not gonna say anything as of now.
So you told her about the cult, right, and how Patton might be the leader of it.
Yeah, I believe so, because we kind of described everything bluntly to Savro.
Right. She says, so on one side we have the Exalters, who are seeking this family's ruin. But aided in the bringing down of the cult that was going to bring back the Doombringer. And on the other side, we have the possible cult leader and politician, powerful politician, who is in favor of our family.
Makes for a change.
Talk to each side is what I would suggest. Figure out where you stand, figure out where they stand, and consider your choices. Porginelli is in a chaotic place at the moment. Different groups vying for control. Not many of them your allies. A few of them your enemies. Do tread carefully. For your own sakes.
I'd like to say that I tend to say asking us to play at politics is like asking a fish to climb a hill.
She kind of smirks at that. She says, well, it may not be your strong suit. Unfortunately, it is the position that you've fallen into. Work out what each side is seeking, and make your decision. And finish up the story of Port Janali for you. When all is done, I would request Seeker Guillaume and all of you return here. After your dealings in Port Janali have concluded, I might have a job for you. But that is not for now. That is for later. And a knock comes at the door. Opening it is one of the staff members who says, my lady, message from the Exalter Arcanum. General Erie has requested dinner tonight at the estate.
I let out a short laugh. Be like, thirsty. Now we will fine dine them after they try to rape our lands.
Your mother, thinks for a moment and says... She, makes eye contact with you, Guillaume, then back to the butler. We will accept this invitation. We will feel him out. See if we can try and wrangle any not aid, but repercussions for their actions. The butler says, My lady, there was another request. General Erie has specifically asked that Seeker Guillaume and Lady Calantine be present with Seeker Guillaume's allies as well. And there's a moment of recognition that General Erie has requested Calantine. That, in that sense, the gig is up. She looks at all of you for your answers.
Well, we'd better not cheap out on the general.
I'm going to say, that I will make the excuse of standing vigil for Clack tonight, because I honestly don't think I should be in a room where my mood might be swayed. I don't think it will go well. I'm not in control, you know.
Very well. What about the rest of you?
I shall go.
Yep.
I will say to I will lean over to my mum and I'll say to her, these people are not fashionably equipped for our occasions. We may need to bring the tailor.
She glances at Nildan and Bibimbap and says, "We may still have some of your and Calantine's old clothes from when you were younger."
I kind of just cover my mouth and try to look serious. I just be like, yes.
Nilda's going to give you and the maid a death stare. Like, dare touch me.
Lady the Fam says, Mudgraw, would you be attending?
Sorry, what was this attending again?
Dinner tonight with General Erie of the Exalter Arcanum.
If everyone else is, sure.
Alright.
I would say no to some food.
She nods and sends the butler off the message back. Well, we will adjourn. Seems we have a dinner to prepare for. And she stands up and says, "And I believe you have a friend to say goodbye to." She nods and leaves. And waiting for sundown, you are approached by staff offering you more formal wear than what you currently have. Obviously, Guillaume, you have a larger selection of that. And Nildan and Bibimbap knocks at your door, and there are children's formal attire ready if you wish. And they kind of bring you a suit, Mudgraw, and kind of gesture that we could maybe cut the back off, and they start theory crafting how to get a suit on you.
Yeah, I don't quite think that's going to work.
But eventually, the sun begins to threaten to leave the sky, and sundown approaches. As you gather round the pyre, where Clack's body has been laid. The staff leave to give you all this time as you all come around in a kind of gathering around this pyre. It's by this large oak tree. It's got a really, really thick trunk, and it goes into this big canopy. Some leaves are on the ground as it's getting to the end of summer, and there is a clear pond by the pyre also, which reflects the now disappearing sun. The sky is that beautiful mixture of sundown colours, warm colours across the sky, as you have this moment to each say a few words before lighting the pyre. Who's going first?
I haven't written my eulogy yet.
Nildan will grab the feathers that he took before, tie them to an arrow, and shoot it into the sky.
And a kind of fire of salute to a friend and battle companion. An integral part of bringing down the coil and stopping the Doombringer from being brought back.
I generally say something along the lines of, that is, he's the one non-Goliath who had both the fighting and drinking spirit worthy of, making his way into the halls of the Goliath afterlife and the great drinking halls. And that hopefully, wherever he is known, he is celebrating.
Is there anyone else? If not, then we can proceed. You each have a torch that you light and can one by one add your torch to the pyre. As you place the torch, there is this sense of saying farewell in this kind of gesture as the pyre lights and the fire spreads. And in the distance, the sun disappears over the horizon. You all say your goodbyes and head off, all but Mudcraw.
But I was planning on trying to stand a visual over the night.
Oh, of course, yeah. So you take your maul and just kind of stand by the pyre. You feel the flames licking at you from the side. As to your side, Mudgraw, you see that same spirit. This time, not as faded. The spirit is closer to this world than it was before.
See.
Make an insight check.
It's clack as well.
Oh, it says clack. Oh, 16. You sense the
And then
spirit
catch money bitches.
definitely trying to get through to communicate with you. But it's almost as if it's asking you to open the door. And Dobrogost, you feel this kind of sensation of something within. It's hard to explain. Like, you feel it in your heart, but really it's in your soul. And you don't know if it's your raging spirits or what. But what do you do?
I not trusting myself fully right at the moment. I just try and stay like at salute, like not saluting, but just standing and trying to stand vigil without like letting myself get tempted to stop the vigil.
Okay.
So can I see the spirit? Is it like trying to talk, or is it just?
It's trying to communicate. It's hard to pick up because you can see that it's trying to talk to you, but you can't hear it because of that.
Its lips. Its beak.
Make a perception check. I'll say make a perception check to see if you can read its beak.
Ooh. I'm very good at reading beaks.
Okay. It's asking you to ask Dobrogost to let him in.
Ooh.
Roll for seduction.
Classic clack.
Even while dead, Clark's still got. I guess I'll say to Dob, like, I can see his spirit. He wants you to open and let him in, or something. Is that what you said? Spread wide.
Said bend down, touch your toes. I just stop staring straight ahead like I have been all the time, and I turn to look at Mudgrow, probably like someone who's seen a ghost, or at least someone who's been told that there's a ghost being seen. I just sort of say, well, you can see him.
I see dead people. Yes. I can see this bird man.
I think of all the weird dreams I've had about various things, like wanting to Get in me. Don't know how to like open up or let something in, so I'll look at the fire and I'll try and focus on the fire, and maybe that weird feeling you said that I had.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Make a wisdom check.
Sorry, my audio is going to be funny. What check was that?
A wisdom check. Not a saving throw, just a check.
Wow.
As you stare into the flame, you begin to feel the welling of force within you. This usually only comes when you access your rage and access those spirits, but you feel it welling up on its own, independent from you. But it doesn't feel like it's going to burst on its own. What do you do?
So it feels like when I rage, basically.
Yes, it feels like when you access rage, you feel the sensation of the spirits like pushing through to be with you, and it's usually like an instant kind of feeling. Whereas this, you start to feel like it welling up and lasting longer than usual, and you get the sense that without you doing something, that it's just going
I
to
try
continue
and
to
rage.
Okay. You go into a rage and you feel the spirit energy kind of flow through you. You look at your hands and like the kind of blue ethereal energy goes through you. And Mudgraw, you see the spirit of this being disappear, and Dobrogos goes into this rage. This is the first time that you've seen this, as like this you see the spiritual energy just surround Dobrogos, and two large blue ethereal wings sprout from the back of him and push off as now a stronger, fully formed spirit of that Aarakocra that you've seen before pushes out. This is something you've not seen before. This is something completely different. No spirit has ever been able to access this world through a person before.
Wow.
But Dobroghost, you turn around and you see flying there Clack's spirit. You hear him say, and it's Clack's voice, but it's kind of echoed, kind of reverberating almost. The first thing it says, it's
Haha, I was inside you.
That's him.
It's the truth.
So, look, based on our discussion a couple weeks ago, would you like to roleplay this moment as Clack for the last time?
Oh. I can't remember what I said.
Okay, I'll send you a reminder.
Oh yeah, he said he wants Dob to have his stuff.
Yeah.
And then I guess that was supposed to be roleplay, I guess, but that was third person. He wants Dob to have his stuff. He can only speak in third person.
Clack spoke in third person. He's
Yeah,
brain damaged from all the booze.
He's seen Valhalla.
Clack has been with the party since Forn and has seen what's happened since and how Dobbergost has taken it on. So Clack is aware of all of that.
Dob, I want you to fuck that bitch up. If you don't, I'll fuck all your bitches up.
The spiritual essence warns as it reverberates around you.
I feel empowered the moment he says that I need to fuck that bitch up. I feel like extra rage, extra strong. I'm just like,
No.
I will destroy every bone in her body.
I'll be watching.
And
And then he poofs away. Disappears into the smoke process. Fuck you guys.
yes, and he does a magician as the rage comes to an end, and Mudgraw, you sense the spirit kind of recess a little. Still with the group, but not on this world anymore.
Cool. I need a tea.
Dob's just like glad that Mudcraw's here because he's like, I wasn't hallucinating, right? It happens to me a lot. That was real.
I'm not real. Just disappeared in the smoke.
The world starts disappearing in smoke.
I'm just gonna pull out a notebook and just write down what a strange encounter that was. I've never seen such a thing.
Yeah. It's definitely the most unique way you've seen a spirit enter this world. And like your mind still kind of pinging like, why was it through Doppelghost?
Because I'm woke.
But
It
in
is.
that rage, Doppelghost, with the presence of your friend, you feel whole again in that rage, and you have the full benefits of it.
Awesome. I think I was going to say that I'm going to continue the like all night vigil until sunrise, but where before, like I felt like heavy and hollow, and like probably hating myself and things. Now it's like with a sense of purpose, a bit more of a sense of strength, and it's like I will avenge you, I will bring honor, and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
I will crush some skulls.
And as you do, after a while, Mudgraw heads off, and you see the rest of the party heading to the main estate now that the sun is down. And you see a small procession of Exalters. And that is where we're going to leave off for our break. So,
Thank God, I really need to pee.
yes. We'll take 10 minutes and then come back. And we'll start with the dinner.
I
Right.
returned a minute and a half ago and was just listening to you laugh at turtles. I don't
Okay.
want to interrupt.
Let's jump back into it. So, we'll see from Dobrogost's perspective, because everyone else is within the main manor at the moment. So you don't see this. A procession of Exalters makes its way onto the main courtyard of the Dafam estate. coming to a stop just outside the main manor. You see two elegant carriages, black wood, well, wood painted black, you know, the typical black aesthetic of the Exalters, occasionally highlighted with silver. You see the guards for this, none of them are below the rank of knight, it appears, as there are knights riding the carriages and kind of by the side of the procession. Stepping out from the first carriage, you see a man, a human male, adult, maybe in his 40s, with slick black hair, contrasting the pale skin that he has. He has a well-defined jaw that's well-shaven. He is, of course, wearing black attire, a kind of formal black suit with a kind of velvet black waistcoat and a kind of deep silver ascot. Flanking him to both sides behind him, you see two Exalter paladins in their normal attire of plate mail, black plate mail highlighted with silver. It's the first time you've seen two paladin Exalters. The carriage behind it opens and a very tall woman walks out. Hard to gauge her age, as she's an elf, a full-blood elf. She's bald, but she has kind of almost ritualistic arcane tattoos across the head and going down to the neck and below, where she's wearing, of course, black robes. The man who you imagine is probably General Eerie, well-postured, corrects himself, and steps forward and goes into the main estate. To his side, the elven woman, and behind them, the two Exalter paladins. Coming to the inside, you've been waiting in like a smoke room area for the guests to arrive, and you get word that they've arrived. So you move to the main dining room, this huge hall with this large table. It's one of the largest tables you've seen. Not that you go about looking at tables, but it's well crafted. It's almost got an elven twang to it in a way. As you all take your seats at this large table, Lady Defam sitting at the top end, Clantine to her left, and Guillaume to her right, and the rest of you between them and the Exalters. In this room, there is a band playing with string instruments, playing softly in the background to give an atmosphere to the silence that sometimes occurs during these dinners. You all take a seat. The elven woman sits to the right of General Eerie, who is announced by the staff. You're also announced to the woman. She is announced as Inquisitor Janice.
Ooh.
Is that Janice, like Janice?
Jan
Friends.
Oz. So it's a US, yeah.
Janice from Friends.
Yeah, it's not. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Paladin Bang!
Sick. The paladins are also announced. They take their seat to the left and to the side. You have Paladin Otrin, who takes her helmet off, and as they usually are, the Exalted Paladin is a human. She sits to the left side of General Erie, and the other Paladin is announced as Paladin Kane, who sits to the side of the Inquisitor. They have not taken off their plate mail. They've taken off their helmet, but they are sitting at this dinner table with their plate mail on.
Those poor chairs.
Yeah. The rest of you were given formal attire to wear. Are any of you not wearing the formal attire given to you?
No, that is not.
Okay.
I mean, keep his.
Um,
He's not really had a chance
Turns
to
out-
shower either, so he's still got like dry blood in his hair.
It turns out that the clothes were too big for no Dan.
it looks like he's wearing a nightgown. And he like puts a shirt on.
Yeah, I'm not wearing any formal attire.
Right, okay.
I struggle to fit on me.
Can I just like I guess can I like take a small piece of like tabard? Like I guess can I make a small like symbol of the Joybringer and kind of I don't know does huh?
And wear it as a tabard over your split mail.
No. I'm not wearing my splint mail. I'm wearing the formal clothes that I was given.
Right, okay.
But I meant like, can I just get like a piece of spare cloth from somewhere and like?
You can have acquired that, yeah, in the hours leading up to this dinner.
I'm just gonna make a small like not napkin, handkerchief with like the symbol on the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna fold it up and put it in the. I don't know what am I wearing. Do I have like something where I could put a handkerchief in a pocket?
It's got
Let's
like a
see.
formal suit, so
Yeah,
there's
sure.
pockets.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
You're a guy, so you have the pockets available. You don't have the unfortunate existence of
Yeah,
having no
yeah.
pockets with most things.
So yeah, I'm just gonna make like a little nice handkerchief and put that in my breast pocket.
All right.
Show it off.
Anyone else would like to describe themselves, or will we dive in? Or dine in?
Yes, let's.
Okay. The first course, it comes immediately. It was already prepared. It is small bowl of leek pottage, which, if you're not aware of what pottage is, it's kind of like a broth, like a thick broth. But it's based with leeks. There's extra placed, and there's bread available as well. General Erie, before digging in, says, if any of you are religious, feel free to say your say before we dig in.
Do I receive a pointed look?
I mean, not pointed, but like he glances at you. I mean, you are wearing religious iconography, so.
Yeah, I'm a paladin. Just because I'm a paladin doesn't mean I say grace before a meal.
Very well. Then dig in. Tara is not here. Tara has decided to stay back because he is tired and his player isn't here.
Also, you actually have like a pentagram card.
Yeah, the session started with Tara like this. Like, he was not in a good way.
Just T-posing and then he sinks into the floor. Yeah, he's got a bit of a headache. But
He used to work in the morning.
Yes. So yeah, Tara is not present. And neither is Dobberghost, of course. You begin eating the first course. It's nothing special, there's herbs in it, but, it's basically the soup, you know. But don't fill yourself up on it, because there's plenty more to come. As the band plays, General Erie sits up. I would like to start our conversations by apologizing for Paladin Dansk's lone wolf operation. He was not permitted to do what he did. He worked alone and will therefore be brought to justice. I hear, and he looks at you again, that yourself and your comrades have taken care of the main encampment, but Paladin Dansk ran away. We thank you for taking care of our rogue Exalters. But further onward, we will take care of Paladin Dansk.
I trust we will hear news when he is brought to justice, General.
He nods. You will.
If you couldn't. No, that puts his knife and fork down. Or spoon, because it's a soup. He says, if you couldn't contain him before, how can we expect you to get a hold of him now?
Well, good halfling. What is your name?
Nilda.
Nilda. Paladin Dansk is a strong believer in the Exalters. Of course, he was able to be trained as a paladin. Not all are strong enough to have this opportunity. It is a delicate political situation in which folk like myself and the dear Inquisitor would not involve a paladin when it comes to the investigation of an attack on the Exalters, such as the outpost outside of Port Janali. But, unfortunately, the cards were dealt. Paladin Dansk is the one that acquired the information to place yourself and Seeker Guillaume and some of you at that outpost. And of course, to place Lady Calantine as a conspirer. Because of our tense political situation on the other side of the coin, with the coil, it was decided to hold back the justice against yourselves. Paladin Dansk clearly did not take that kindly. Paladin Dansk is a strong individual. Unfortunately, he's not very subtle. He takes a spoonful of leek soup. Where are you from? Are you from the Shire of Bullyhop?
That I am.
Beautiful place. Of course, the main citadel of the Exalters is situated near some of the Shire. I often find myself enjoying the brews of halfling folk. It's not very often halflings in the Shire leave the Shire. What spun you on this journey?
Yeah. Search for adventure. I grew tired of bully hot life. Too steady for me.
You make a momentary awkward eye contact with Gil. Make a deception check. Or persuasion check if you are not lying. You can make it to the GM if you would like to hide which one it is.
Who's he trying to persuade? Me or the other guy?
General Erie.
Okay, right.
This is against General Erie, so it's either persuasion or deception.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Sure your name isn't Nildan Neverfail.
There's a moment of pause before he responds. Of course, the humble life is not for everyone. You've certainly done well for yourself. And kind of looks about the rest of you. And continues eating. The first course goes by, and the second course is brought after a bit of a break. The second course being a platter of salmon and bread and butter. The salmon's very, very fresh. Very tasty. As you all start to tuck in. The Inquisitor, Janice, looks to you, Bibimbap, and says, "Dear gnome, what may your name be?"
Bibimbap.
I hear you are quite the arcanist, Bibimbap.
I blush. Swoon.
Your powers are quite destructive.
Oh, stop it, you.
Caesar.
I would just remind you to watch yourself using such magics. Some people
I
don't
think I
take
know what
them.
I'm doing.
Soup.
She says, "Well, as long as you're not harming anyone, then you may have your spells."
I'm just a little old lady. Who could I possibly harm?
Warm shivers.
She kind of goes back to her salmon. General Erie looks about you all. I must admit, I am a little disappointed. I was expecting one of you to be a Goliath. I was looking forward to a conversation with him. Is he not joining us for dinner?
Unfortunately, he is otherwise occupied with personal matters.
Such as what, if I don't mind prying?
I kind of look at the rest of the members of the party at the table. Does anyone kind of give me a look as to say like probably shouldn't tell them?
Yes.
You see an intense glance from Nilden.
I kind of just stop for a second and look as if I'm trying to remember it. And I kind of fake make the realization like, I'm actually not quite sure. I don't really remember if he did say. I'm sorry.
Make a deception check, please.
Why do I need to do a deception? I don't.
And
Why do I need to even do a deception? I just didn't remember.
Of course.
Roll a forget check.
Bonk. It's a bonk check where I just bonk myself in the head and make myself forget it.
You just headbutt the table and like, sorry, God.
Are you often this forgetful? Half-orc. I apologize. Well, what is your name?
Gel.
Ah. Were you born under a king or a chieftain?
Chieftain.
What swooned you into the life of civilization over chaos?
Being completely abandoned.
Oh. That's not unlike the savages to abandon their own kind. Very selfish creatures. I hear orcs are rarely an issue up in Northern Farilk. A lot of that thanks goes to the Fam family, often being on the offensive against orc tribes, which is rare.
Okay. I don't hold much love for my orc brethren. I don't hold a great deal of reverence or respect for them and their ways. That said, I do also find it of issue to me that people would be hunted down by any group. So I kind of give a look over to Guillaume and say I don't quite think that that's the best way to let things be. However, and I look back at who is it speaking to me again?
This is General Erie.
I look back to General Erie. I also don't think it very smart or just or reasonable at all to suppress people everywhere based on fear. I kind of just take a slurp of soup.
Of course, you are from the clown show. Do you feel
Sorry?
that it would be better to rule with laughter?
I feel that it would be better to leave people's ruling to themselves.
Oh, but that did happen, Gil. That was the case, Gil.
Mm-hmm. Where?
Don't
I
ask
su-
I want to see where this is going.
I suppose growing up in the woods surrounded by heathens and savages, your education may be lacking. So, let's see this as a chance for education. The Kingdom of Alvier, the Free Towns Republic, Farilk itself was not the first civilization of humans. You see, before that, we had a grand civilization. Archaeologists and arcanists over the years have found proof that we once lived in cities of pure arcana. Floating cities where even a mere peasant had the capability of a cantrip. With that such freedom, were they left alone? Was it peaceful? No. The magocracies that controlled those cities were in constant turmoil and infighting up until the silence, where magic itself stopped working. Those cities fell to the ground and the human race went almost extinct.
Hmm.
It was the strong will of our ancestors that brought the kingdom of Alvier to its height and allowed the Freetown's Republic. The Exalters were not involved with that war, but our founder Ivan was involved in a war with Demogorgon. Do you know that island? Just off the coast of Farilk, that used to be inhabited by elves and humans, families living lives day to day, lumberjacks, millers, blacksmiths. They didn't have the Exalters. They had ruin. As a cult brought forth Demogorgon and his horde, ruining and scarring the landscape for over 800 years and more. Were it not for the Exalters, would you have stopped the Doombringer?
Potentially not.
That
But
potential.
Thankfully now we'll never know.
Yes, because of the Exalters, that potential is too much of a risk. The potential of extra-dimensional creatures coming to our home to take it away from us is too much of a risk. That is why the Exalters are the sword and shield of this continent and beyond. Not since our inception has a
Guillaume
mage
takes a very
wrought
loud
ruin.
slurp from his cup.
Not since our inception has a mage
Ace
brought
takes another
ruin,
big slurp.
ruin upon us. Our founder Ivan sacrificed his life, work, to bring us to this point. That is why the Exalters Arcanum works. On fear, maybe. I'd rather my enemies fear me than laugh at my laughable god.
Oh,
I'm just gonna stay very neutral and nonplussed about this conversation.
Okay.
Food for thought. And thank you also for the history lesson. I actually didn't know that. I'm not gonna take the bait on this. I'm just gonna act quite reasonable about it and just seem as if like, yeah, it's interesting to hear your perspective on things. I'm going to continue with my soup.
Any chance to educate the populace? It looks at you, Mudgrow, and just doesn't bother.
wow.
To continue. It's like,
Calantine. Sorry. Lady Calantine. I see you are well. You seem well rested. I hear you have a new sister. Congratulations. Calantine just kind of nods and stays quiet. Of course, the guards of your cell, they aren't. Their families are not enjoying themselves. They received letters of their deaths. He takes a mouthful of salmon. As it kind of, there's now this tension.
Guillaume's gonna like look to his mother. Like, what's her mood right now?
Make an insight check. Looking at her, she's keeping a like the shields are up essentially. It's hard to tell where she's at emotionally. She's in that mode that you know she gets in when it comes to politics and dealing with individuals such as the Exalters. She has complemented the Exalters' color scheme. She's in a kind of black dress, but instead of silver, it is blue highlights. That course comes to an end, and there's a break before the next one, where your mother acknowledges you looking at her, and she says, "Well, now that you are here, General Erie, maybe you have come to discuss aid for our people that have been wronged by your people. It is not fair to them. We care greatly for our people, and they have been displaced. Fields burned, homes burned." She looks to you, Guillaume, after saying that. General Erie says, "Of course, it is a shame. But no. The Exalters will not be giving aid to your family. In fact, the way I see it, it was injustice met with injustice. You got your justice, Seeker, Guillaume. And the rest of you, when you attacked the camp, I hear you ran head first into them without any backup. A strong strategy. Bold. There's another awkward silence. Who is the strategist for your group then? Is there a leader? I would like to meet
I'm
you,
gonna
Great
ask
Elder.
the general this. On the talk of strategy, General, how fares the other fronts? It's a very large area your order covers. And I mean, it must be difficult to cover all that now that you have paladins turned bandits now. Don't imagine that wins much favor with the common people either.
The common people, easily stirred by nobles such as yourself, like how you claim to love your own people, yet they sit in tents while you have a feast. But Councillor Patton has been a particular thorn in my backside, and the Exalters, riling up the populace. And I think we both know he might just have a second agenda. It is true, Porginelli has seen an uptick in daylight aggression against the Exalters. That is not for us. They are angry for the sake of being angry. Their leader is whipping them into a frenzy with falsities. Using you as a shining example. I know you've not been to Portinali in a few days, but the town criers call, "Oh, the Exalters, oh, the Exalters." They almost messed up an investigation into a cult. That's what they say. They say that the Free Guard are already investigating this cult, and our attack almost messed up your attack. They say that you were working for the Free Guard as a behind-the-scenes mercenary group to take down the Doombringer. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
I'm not sure exactly what you're accusing me of.
Playing both sides.
Oh, General, you know I can't help but play games with Exalters.
But these are not games, noble child.
I'll put my glass down, I'll say, not when it comes to the treatment of my people and my family, General. You see, General, I think you're scared. And I see that same fear that I see in monsters that I have slain many a time. Just as you are cowering and shrinking, you present yourself as big as you can. Your forces are completely spread thin. You have entire companies of paladins and knights resorting to banditry. And to be honest, I don't believe that such oaths as noble as an Exalter's oath would be thrown away so simply for a bit of spite over a tiny noble family. Feels like it takes more than that. It feels like it's maybe just a symptom of a growing rot within the order.
Ooh, you speak very dangerous words. And you do notice, out from the cracks and crevices of the plate mail armor from the two paladins, a hint of smoke. The General Eerie puts his hand forward and that dies down. He did not attack you for spite. He believed he was doing justice. He believed he was seeking justice for his murdered comrades. Paladin Dansk was the paladin in charge of that outpost. You got lucky that he was in Port Janali dealing with another issue. If you had been there, we would have been talking about a whole different night.
Perhaps Dansk could not be here to talk at all.
I see. Is that why you almost killed yourself running into an encampment? Is that why Paladin Dansk is still alive? And for the record, your naivety shines so bright. Almost as bright as your ego.
I'll say, you honor me, General.
I do not need to have an ego. I work for an organization, the strongest organization since the height of the kingdom. The kingdom has seen decades of peace. So has the Freetown's Republic.
Are we experiencing these peace times?
No, because a bunch of people are running around killing Exalters.
Is it that easy to destroy your peace then, General? It did not seem like much of a peace at all. More like you've thrown a piece of cloth over all the issues and called it a good day's work.
Are you asking me to show strength? To deal with what I perceive to be the issue here?
Speak your mind. If you have an
Pip
issue.
starts giggling. Says, I'd like to see you try.
Oh no.
She's had maybe one too many glasses of wine.
The main course
Oh,
almost comes in and saves that moment.
I'll say, do forgive our elderly wizard. You know, you know how people of their stature are. They cannot soak up as much wine as other beings.
I glare at you while drinking another glass.
General Erie,
Doctor
before
Static
digging
is
in.
for some reason feeling really uncomfortable at the moment. He's like, God damn it, what are those idiots gonna do?
The main course is a kind of is a platter of goose. Before touching it, General Erie looks at you, Bimbat, and at Seeker Guillen. You clearly do not understand the thin ice that you're on. It's no secret that the family has been broke for a generation. Your late father tried his very best, but I found the man prickly.
Commonality, I'm sure you both shared.
Well, there's one commonality we don't share, and that's I'm sitting at his table now.
You should feel honored, General.
I was so sad to hear of his stroke.
General, surely a man of your honor is above lying to another man's face.
You want me
Or
to
do you
speak the
now
truth?
dishonor your own self?
Okay, I will speak candidly. I have me detach a large enough number of Exalters in 3 times Republic to storm your gates and slay your entire family, including your infant cousin. It would be the easiest attack of my life. I have fought against empire incursions. I have fought against monsters greater than your petty... What was it that you've killed? I don't quite recall.
I'll lean back and say, goodness, I mean,
So if
there
you are
was that
really
outpost.
asking me that I should just show my strength and get rid of the thing that I think is causing the most issue in the Freetown's Republic, then maybe I just will. As he breaks off some garlic bread.
See ya. I don't know these people.
Or would you like our order to continue to allow your family to exist?
What conditions would those be under?
The same conditions. Just if your family just so ever steps out of line again and so much as cuts the arm of an Exalter, I will come back not with 2 paladins, but with a squadron. And you will see the strength that we have. It will be swift. Maybe I'm cruel enough to leave you to last. Maybe. I don't care. But I truly do worry for your family if you are this generation's Seeker. At least Seeker Gerard knows when to keep his mouth shut.
Seeker Gerard isn't here.
And your family's all the weaker for it. Where's your brother?
Not sure. Would you happen to know?
Yes? I've met with him a few times in Dorsia. Of course, that's where I'm stationed.
How is he?
Oh, you know. Living the life. He claims to be the Seeker. And honestly, now that I've seen you, comparing the two of you, Maybe your father was wrong about who should be Seeker.
Funny that you'd find commonality in a murderer in general.
I'm sorry
Where
about your
is he
companion.
exactly in Dorcia?
Oh, I don't know. Your family tends to scurry off into the woods to fight goblins or whatever. But I'll say this. If you continue the deal that you have, wherein you speak our praises, even though it may be out of your rear rather than your front, we will step back in the pursuit of justice for Calantine's prison escape. I'd hate for a child to grow up without her elder sister. And he kind of like takes a moment, and like there's definitely this coldness over the air. Glancing at your mother, you imagine this talk of Isaac and murder is the reason why her kind of strong political facade is kind of starting to break, as she's now just focused on her meal. That's all you have to do, little songbird, is sing. And you save your family.
On the issue of family, where is Isaac exactly? I know you wouldn't let him wander. You've got him on a short leash. Tell me where he is,
Oh,
and I will not return to the Dalfam estate. I will resign myself to some barren southern land, hunting goblins, as you would say.
make a deception or persuasion check based on whether you're lying or not. You're telling me that you, the last recognized male of your generation, of your family, would just leave. No. Unlike you, my words are not filled with smoke. The Defam family serves a purpose, albeit a small one. I'll not have you go down to the desert. What I said was true. I do not know where Isaac is. I was distracted and pulled up to the Freetown's Republic to deal with a dead paladin and an attacked outpost. But clearly tonight has shown me your opinions. Shown me where you stand. You need not say more. As he goes into his main meal of goose, biting off garlic bread. He's like, delicious. Compliments to the chef. You know, I heard garlic is good for keeping vampires at bay. I suppose that small talk doesn't work here, you would know that.
I think the best thing for keeping such monsters away is to not invite them into your house. And I will raise my glass as in a kind of cheers to him, being like, "Oh, there's a little tip for you."
But of course, the monsters will knock the door down anyway. And the rest of this dinner kind of goes by quite quietly and awkwardly. As the desserts are brought out, as is sweet tarts, and an array of like different wine is brought out. General Erie and Exalters stand. Well, it's been a very productive dinner. You could expect no more aggression from the Exalters. As we said, it was a rogue band seeking justice for your rogue seeker. The way I see it, we're at a standstill. If not tipped against us. But remember, Guillaume, you better sing your song. And he leaves.
I was gonna reach my hand out to shake his.
He shakes her hand. And leaves. And dinner is concluded. Your mother immediately leaves. Without any pleasantries or anything, just straight up leaves the room. Aragorn, you see these Exalters leave the main manor. And as General Erie is about to get in the cart, the carriage, he stops and turns to you. And begins walking up to you.
I was just about to say that I like wipe my brow. Like they're gone and no incidents. No, I'm like, don't cause an incident. Don't cause an incident.
He sees the pyre standing vigil.
I nod and say yes.
What is your name?
Say Doppelgast.
Doppelgast, I was excited to see you at the dinner. Unfortunately, I missed you. He looks at the pyre. Friend or family?
A brother.
I'm sorry to hear. Well, I was hoping we would meet on nicer circumstances, but we have what we have. I understand Goliaths, they're strong in their honor and their family and their clan. What clan are you from?
Tribe Molgoshti.
A strong name. Are you based in Farilk or further afield?
They are no longer based anywhere.
I'm sorry to hear that. Goliaths are some of the strongest warriors I have ever encountered. Did you know that King Darren the Cruel, his guard, his personal guard, was a Goliath woman. The first kings or monarch's guard to forgo wearing the adamantine armor. And despite that, she was one of the strongest guards and most memorable ones to this date. You would do well in the kingdom. If it were up to me, I would take people like you, strong fighters, and you would be my vanguard against the empire of the hobgoblins. They are a plight on their landside.
I say there are many plates on this land.
Yes, there are.
Up until then, I've been like looking straight ahead, sort of not looking at him.
Right.
I look at him to say that.
Okay. Make an intimidation check. He meets your eye. Have a nice life. And he
Just go
walks
back
off.
to looking straight forward.
And they get on the carts and carriages and leave. You're all sat at the dining table. Well, the rest of you sat at the dining table. Plenty of tarts and wine available still, but Lady Defam and the Exalters are gone. And you have that moment to yourselves. As the band is playing, still a jolly tune, even through all the tension. Plenty of food still available, but you have the room.
Well, I think that went great.
On the contrary, I think that went terrible.
It's like, you just haven't drunk enough, pal.
Pour him a glass of wine.
I would like to request a cup of milk from one of the maids
Easy done.
and take it out to Dob.
Okay.
Aw.
Neldan kind of walks up to you with a wee glass of milk.
Just puts it on the floor beside you. And kind of can't pat your back because you're so tall. So it just kind of pats the back of your knees and then walks back inside.
Strips your calf.
I gratefully look towards him as he's probably already walking away.
I'll ask Calantine if she's okay.
No,
Same.
I am now at least 4 times more worried than I was before.
Same.
She's just kind of like playing with a tart. She's not really eating at this point.
So Lady Dauphin's left, hasn't she?
Yes.
I should probably go and speak to her alone.
All right. You find her in like one of the smoke rooms, just sitting on a chair. You hear the tick of a small gnome-designed clock.
I'll say, well, at least we know where he stands, honestly, now.
Speak to Pat and see what he has to offer. If he clearly has a plan. But I ask that you speak to him.
Did father ever have dealings with Patton?
Yes. It's the reason he is dead. Councillor Patton came to your father in a state, a wreck. He had been named councillor and was coming to the estate for the typical formal greeting of the new councillor of the guard for Porginelli. And during that dinner, he broke down, crying about his wife and how the Exalters had slain her. Over the years, Patton's whispers were in your father's ear. I was not privy to the full details. I just know that there was a cult somehow involved, and the plan was to destabilize the Exalters in the Freetowns Republic. Years of warning him off did no good to me or him. Isaac overheard them one night. This has been a bad night. But it hasn't been our worst. There are options. Few, but there are. Speak to Patton. I don't know how receptive your companions will be to that, given that we now know that he was, or probably was, the cult leader of the coil. Maybe he was always just deceiving your father and your father fell for it. Or maybe there was something there. And she stands up.
Whatever the case, when it comes down to it, I'll be with the family.
Now more than ever, we need allies. What I said before about coming back to the estate once things had concluded in Porginelli, that is more important than ever. Convince your allies to do the same. We'll need all the help we can get. There's a long journey ahead of us.
When all is concluded, what I said to the general, with or without his consent, should he even be alive to give it, I will find Isaac Now do I need to? And that'll be it.
I worry for Gerard. If Isaac is so openly in Dorsia, he would have been killed. Gerard would have killed him. Either something's wrong with Gerard, or years of solitude has switched his mind. I only ask you do not be as rash as he was that night. He is still my son. And she begins to walk to the door and leaves. Everyone, well, apart from Dobbergost, retires to the guest manor. And unless you have something you want to do tonight, you all take your rest.
It's a long rest then.
That would be a long rest.
Okay.
And Dobbergost, are you staying awake all night?
Yep.
Okay.
Make a surprise at least.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
So where are these 9s?
You rolled a 9. Okay, you've gained a point of exhaustion.
That's fine.
The morning comes, and you'll wake up, meet in the breakfast room of the guest estate, have your toasted bread and fruit and cheese and whatever. What are you planning?
I won't be in the guest manor, just so people know.
If it's after sunrise, I'll carry my empty glass of milk. Bring it into the house and join everyone for breakfast.
See, Dobbergost walks in, some bags under his eyes after standing vigil all night.
I suppose I'll.
You go.
I'm trying to think whether it's the right time to say that I've been speaking to ghosts. I don't know. I sit next to Mud Grow, and I'm just for breakfast. If he brings it up, I'll let the other people know that why.
All right. Well, if no conversations had. Well, if no conversations had at this point, you literally are just going to exist for the rest of your life. So, what's the plan? It's a new day. What are you doing?
I'm gonna come into the guest manor. I've had my breakfast,
All right.
and I'm like, I'm out of my fancy clothing and into my still fancy, but my more usual traveling clothing.
Yep.
I think we should probably.
Sorry to cut the pleasantry short, but I insist that we go to Port Janali with all due haste.
And head where?
Well, we headed. You suggest we head straight to Patton?
Yes. In terms of options, it's Patton or our lips between an Exalter's arse cheek stop.
Some of them look pretty fine, so. No, I don't think. I generally nod consent to like going to see, going back to Portugal.
They seem to want a lot of like personal information from us. I feel like we're gonna get doxxed.
If it stands for anything, I have technically already been doxxed. I would not recommend getting doxxed.
He only doxed an army turn up at your
You could say I got swatted, perhaps.
Yeah, they didn't. Oh wait, I wasn't at dinner, so I can't say much about that.
Where do we stand with the order then? I know where I stand. And I'd be surprised if you didn't know.
It's worth seeing what Councillor Patton has to say. He is responsible for freeing us after all. But I still don't fully trust this situation.
Gail?
Path number 3.
How are we going to do this? We're just going to barge into Port Janai, remembering what happened last time.
I'm sure, given Patton's recent treatment of us, we can expect a less hostile welcoming.
I feel like we're probably no longer banned from central town.
No.
It'd be quite hard to meet up with him if we still weren't allowed in.
And the Bloodrose gang have got what they want from us now, so...
Yeah. And if Patton is as powerful in Portugal as it seems, and we can do anything to help his struggle with the Exalters, maybe he will help us get our hands on certain scum masquerading as gang leaders.
Very well. Any object to going to Port Janai?
Nope.
Should we leave this afternoon?
Prefer we leave the second you've had your last bite of breakfast.
No, I was going to start shoveling food.
Like
I'm gonna
like a
ask, do we have
squirrel
to-
hoarding nuts.
I steal their silverware. No, I'm joking. But I will ask Guillaume if he thinks that we might be able to use like a cart and a horse. I don't particularly fancy walking all the way to Port Janai after what we've been through.
Will there be enough in the stables, Geo? Or
Probably, yeah.
well, We can maybe spare one horse. The little ones can ride one together or share with another.
Shotgun.
You could probably even put together a carriage if you wanted.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair putting me on a horse. Cruel to the horse.
Can ride in style.
Yeah, I won't. I was thinking I would sleep on the carriage because I've been up all night.
How long is the ride to Port Janelle?
3 days from Charlie's Crossing. It's probably let me just check the map real quick. It's a day to Charlie's Crossing from the Defam estate. So 4 days.
You can have lots of stuff.
Yeah, I think a cart would be better. Sleep for the whole thing.
Alright.
Alright. Where we go now? Let's go.
Yeah. When everyone's like getting their stuff ready, I'm gonna go get just sort of collect Clack's stuff. He said I could have it all.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you pick up the bag of holding. Actually, let me specifically get what you get.
Yeah, send me like
Just
a
go through his inventory. Oh shit.
Yeah, just send a screenshot and then I'll like copy it on my own time.
You find a cloak of protection, gem of brightness, Keoghathan's ointment, bag of holding.
Oh wait.
Don't write this down. This is that
Yeah.
stuff you'll see. Write this down though. 762 platinum.
Hey, that's what I was waiting for.
And 2,150 gold pieces. 40 silver pieces. And 25 copper.
Let's go.
And you find some young white dragon teeth,
Oh.
which takes you back.
And some scales.
Yeah, there's some memorable stuff like the Pherozonosaurus claw, some charred rations, a weird ear-shaped rock, a weird necklace. That's what he wrote. I didn't say that. He wrote it's a weird necklace. A very shiny gem.
Alright. There we go.
And a map of Farilk.
Nice.
He did have one. After
I
claiming
also
not
won't
to.
tell anyone about the map.
But yes, there is no magic boomerang. Thor took that. Thorn took that.
That
God,
bastard.
Jesus, in that case, we're never getting it back.
Ah, the hammer makes sense.
And you head.
He does. Yeah, I guess you also get the evil book to summon the Doombringer.
Oh, yes!
Oh no. You say goodbye for now to your family. The rest of you thank for the pleasantries. And you head off on your journey. First day goes by without a hitch. You pass the small hamlet village that is because you leave from the other side of the estate this time, so you go down this path, the straight path from the courtyard, past all these, like the trees are up to this path. You get to the stables where you're given a carriage, and if anyone's not in the carriage, they're supplied with a horse, and you ride out. You go down this pathway that's by the river, and it's by the river mostly all the way until Charlie's Crossing. In fact, no, it's entirely by the river. And you pass a small hamlet that wasn't affected by the attack, but it's still under the fam influence. There's
Jar of ointment.
like there's heads turn as you go through that, mostly to Guillaume, and you hear like errant cheers and stuff, and you're caught not off guard, but you catch someone shout down with the Exalters as you ride out of this small hamlet. The day journey goes by without a hitch. You make it to the quaint river crossing town of Charlie's Crossing. This aesthetically rustic town where two rivers join to one. Those of you who've been here before kind of nudge everyone to the Freedom's Point Respite, the inn at the point of where these rivers meet. It's a gold piece a day to stay there, and you stay for the night, but you, keeping haste, continue on forward to Porginelli.
God, I am so fucking poor.
Yep.
Half your
Gone
net
from
worth,
like 5,000 gold to 15 or 14, I guess now.
How much is a platinum coin worth in gold?
Mongrel goes over to Dover and he's like, "Oh, the spirit! It told me that I was to inherit as well." Ooh.
I have more like 10,000 gold. Fucking hell.
So, those days go on mostly without a hitch. There's the odd like moment where you're riding by a group and you're sussing them out, but there's no issue. And the forest eventually breaks, and you crest the hill and look down upon Porginelli, the city of where, well, everything has occurred, the central heartbeat of your journeys so far. And the dark fields where black tents are erected and the larger Exalter encampment still stands outside the city. From this angle, you make your way into the dockside first of the city, where a few eyes kind of latch onto you, and they kind of mumble to themselves. It seems, for some reason or another, you are being recognized by some people. And like you hear like, no, he's 10 feet tall, not this guy's shorter. You hear like those random conversations.
Oh, the gnome is smaller than I thought.
As you're walking down this street, two Exalter soldiers are walking the other way, and you remember that they have influence over this area still. They nod, and as they do, a fist comes out of nowhere and it punches one of them in the face. As the other one like reacts with trying to get their sword out, a baton comes down from behind as these masked people are now jumping the Exalter soldiers.
Oh.
Nice.
You see Free Guard in the distance, standing back. What do you
Suddenly
do?
I'm blind and can't see.
I'm just gonna kind of glance back to whoever's closest and just say, the common people do matter, it seems. Or I kind of mutter to myself as if I'm talking to the general. I'm just like never truer words have I spoke of your order about it not being able to control as much as it wishes to.
I'm going to say, normally seeing someone get attacked, join in to help, but looks like they're holding their own as like these exalters are getting their head kicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say to Dobrgost, repeating like the general's words, like injustice breeds injustice, I suppose.
And as you're saying that, you hear one of these people shout out, "For Patton!" And he kicks them in the head. And they like run off as other exalters kind of spot this and run in. The free guards who were just kind of standing by just kind of walk off, continuing their patrol. Seems there are tensions here.
Where have we reached? I missed it. Are we in?
You're
Portugal
in,
yet?
you're in the dock side of Port Janali.
Have I slept since then? Can I?
Oh yeah.
Do I get
You've
rid
had
of
a
my
long
exhaustion?
rest. Get rid of your exhaustions. Um, so where are you heading? Where to? There's like a few. You can go to the inn. There's the hearth. You realize that it's probably been a few days since Paladin Freyek has returned. There's options for you, including, of course, the Councillor's estate.
Personally, I would go to the Councillor's estate.
Okay. Anyone doing anything different?
I was just like quickly checking to see if the crew of the sailing hearth are okay. See, they haven't been like killed or anything.
Are they still docked there then?
You could check.
Yeah, can we go check?
All right.
I think Taro would probably support that because he's all like boatish and stuff.
Yeah. Guillaume splinters off. Then anyone following him to the Councillor's estate.
Before he goes, I'd probably just like try and say like,
We'll go after.
could we not go just after checking the docks first?
Guillaume is gonna just kind of look at Dob and continue on. Be like, I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Alright.
Guillaume's priorities are purely falling on his family now.
All right. Guillaume goes off. The rest of you heading towards the sailing hearth. You go to the dockside and begin searching along for the boat. From this angle, you would see first the Forlorn frigate, Paladin Freyek's ship. Do you do anything with that, or do you just walk past and continue searching for the sailing hearth?
Not right now.
Okay.
I wouldn't bring up the idea of it at the moment.
Okay.
We're done with Exalters for the time being.
You walk past, and eventually you see the sailing hearth. From a distance, you're like, "Oh, where's the sails? There are no sails attached to the masts. A lot of the rigging is down. Terai, with his knowledge, would calm any possible nerves and say that they're probably just re-rigging it and maybe giving it new sails. Walking up to it, what's everyone's passive perception?
11.
50. No. Yeah, 15.
9.
Oof. Alright. Dorbergost then.
Always reading a book.
Oh, it's Doppelghost. Okay. As like the group are kind of walking, you kind of slow down a little as you're looking at the hearth, and you just glance at the corner of your eye. A group of people kind of just loitering at the docks, with a red rose symbol.
Mm.
And a thorn through the stem.
Can we stealth? Okay, or not?
Do they look like goon? No, first, do they look like goons, or do they look like I'm in charge of this place sort of thing? Are they just dock working, goony type people?
Make an insight check to see if they're Goonies.
I got my goon
On a
glass.
scale of 1 to goon.
I've already forgot the word you said, so I can't find it in the
Insight.
Insight. That's an I.
It's hard to tell. There's like a few of them seem pretty confident. They're just kind of like sitting about. They're all like yelling at people or anything. They're just kind of like keeping to themselves. One of them notices you.
I walk up to them.
Okay.
That doesn't sound goonish. That doesn't sound too boss-like to me. They sound goonish enough.
Okay, you walk up to them and they all kind of spot you, and as you approach, they all kind of stand up, trying to make themselves look bigger, but like, what do you do?
I'm going to basically look at them, and I'm just going to say, "Where's the crew?"
What?
I point at the sailing hearth. I say, "Where's the crew?"
They're on the ship. Oh, you're not worried, are you?
No, that's just going to give them squinty eyes.
No, I look at them. I say, "Nothing." I walk onto the boat.
Okay. And you walk away. And one of them shouts, "Remember, boss says we're even." As they sit back down.
Oh,
I turn around and I say, "I'm not too good at maths."
What, you didn't learn your basic trigonometry?
Remember which one was the sine and which one was the cosine.
You got the sine, you got your cos, the tan. Anyway. Walking up onto the sailing harp. It's kind of been stripped a little, like it's in the process of redecoration. The only person you see as you walk up is the humanoid, a humanoid figure kind of leaning back on an almost sun lounger. You see Frederick. His overgrown beard has been trimmed back, almost to the point where he looks clean shaven. His mess of hair has been trimmed also. He's got like a Panama hat on and like he's got kind of like a dad holiday outfit on. He's got like the kind of shirt over a white t-shirt, the kind of Hawaiian like blue and yellow like patterns. He's got like cream like shorts that go down to like his calves.
It sounds. If any of you seen like the Disney Sword in the Stone, it sounds like Merlin when he like comes back from his trip to Bermuda.
He's got big socks on with sandals, and he's just radiating dad energy. As he sees you, and he puts down his cocktail. Hello! We're beginning to get worried. They're back! As you all kind of walk up. Where have you all been? We're kind of getting worried. Gale, kind of, you're here. Gale, you see... Are you here, actually?
I'm not sure if he is.
Come up!
He's been quiet for a while now.
Okay, in that case I won't describe it. But, Emmett comes out. You see he's also had a bit of a haircut. It's kind of longer hair that he usually wears in a ponytail. He's cut to like a medium length and it's kind of got this wave to it. He comes out and says, "Oh, hi. Well, welcome back. My name is Emmett. This is the Sailing Hearth."
We know.
As he just like walks up to you, Dorgos, and gives you a hug.
Oh,
Aw.
And yeah, kind of greets all of you.
Hello.
Annabelle comes out as well. You see, like, different from her like robed, hooded attire when you first met her, she now has leather armor on. It's like a Carolina blue dyed color in the leather armor, with a kind of uniform green clothing under that. Her sky blue hair is cut as well, mid length. You see the stumps of the cut off horns, reminiscent of Terai's. And she kind of walks up to you all. We're beginning to figure out that. Emmett says, "Well, I'm glad you're back. I've been doing some research, with some help. Where's Gian? And where's Clack?"
With us.
Clack. Yeah. Still down.
You lost him? What, in the sky again?
Not
This
like,
time, unfortunately.
more like crashed into the ground and splat.
Oh my god!
Accident! No, I'm holding you.
Emmett's face is just kind of like mine right now, honestly. What? What do you mean?
You know, his
He looks at someone who isn't Nildan.
Clack clocked out of life.
He looks at someone who isn't Bibimbap. He looks at you, Dobroghost.
Dobrogos in his head, he's like, how am I the most sensible person here? What's going on?
Yeah, Terra seems a little too tired still to fill this role, and Gale is T-posing. It's weird.
Gal actually fell through the gangplank as just standing on the water at the bottom of the boat.
I just say that, unfortunately, we've been through some tough situations, and Clack didn't make it through.
Oh.
I immediately go to, like, what's on my mind, which is, I ask if they've had any problems with, or interactions with people wearing, like, rose insignias on their clothes.
No. What do you mean, the blood rose kind? No, we've kept to ourselves. We've just been preparing to deck the ship out. And, Sorry. I know he was a friend of yours, and he was a friend of mine, obviously. But well, you guys are pretty badass. You guys are pretty badass. So you could probably just get revenge for him, right? Frederick kind of steps forward, takes his Panama hat off. I mean, what was his state like? I brought Emmett. You helped me bring Emmett back. Maybe if he didn't lose any limbs, then
He was beyond that point.
I'm sorry for your loss, all of you.
This isn't in character, and we kind of burnt him now.
Oh yeah.
Who's doing
Are you
that?
good at really hard puzzles? It's in a lot of pieces.
Okay. You, you tell him that, and he kind of like gives you a soft like pat on the bicep.
I flex it through
Ooh.
instinct.
Dobrikos, have you been working out? Jeez. He kind of
I was just gonna say I'm going to be quite like blunt with them and basically just say like a lot has happened recently. It's hard to tell who is and isn't our enemy at the moment, but it seems like the Sailing Hearth doesn't seem in too much danger, but I just want them to have keep an eye out and get the sails back on the ship as soon as they can. So if anything goes wrong, they can not be sitting ducks.
I'll let Kura know when she's finished. Well, you have us. We are not your enemy. We are your friends.
Yeah.
And he looks to Gil. Cam, are you here? He looks to you, Gil, and I don't know if you know yet. And you look behind him, and you see the plate mail armor, on a kind of armor rack.
Yeah.
It has a painted symbol of the Joybringer on it.
Yeah.
And the door opens from the kind of meeting room on the quarterdeck, and a spry old human with scraggly beard and scraggly hair kind of prances out. Arthur.
Yeah. Arthur, how's it going, dudes?
Oh my god, Gil! Oh, it's been so long.
I go off and give him a big old hug.
He hugs back. He's like, hello everyone, I'm the one that you saved from a troll.
Is he drunk already? Can I smell booze?
He wobbles out onto deck despite the fact that the ship isn't wobbling.
It's always hard to tell if the Joybringers are
Is this
the
where
Joy
everyone got
dancers.
their cocktails from?
You do see he's got a cocktail in his hand as he's hugging. Yeah. So you're probably wondering why am I here? So after you told us about the cult, I thought, well, shit, that's bad. So I came up here from East Creek, and well, I've been doing research since. I think I know enough now that, given the motivation and given the gusto you all have, we could take down Councillor Patton.
Well,
And
Can I
and
do an
and
explain
Emmett
to
kind of turns to him before anyone says anything. Yeah. Well, obviously, I don't want revenge against the man who, well, got me killed. It would be good to see some justice. So, Arthur found the sailing hearth the same day you disappeared, and I've been working with him to find a way of bringing him down. You all kind of like awkwardly look at each other, knowing now what you know.
Well, I hate to be a party pooper. I mean, it's kind of my job not to be, but I don't think that will be strictly necessary anymore.
You hear this very stern "Excuse me?" from Katura, who has now left her captain's quarters
I would just
and
say
has the daggers that could kill. And in that moment, we're going to pull back, and that is going to be the end of the session. As a conversation needs to be navigated here. And that is the end of...
all this intrigue too hard for Dobcost's brain.
It's too hard for it's too hard for Cameron brain. I don't like it. I want to hit stuff with a hammer.
I want to come out with like a bad guy written on his t-shirt.
Yeah, he just comes out with a bad guy written on his t-shirt and he like kills like a puppy or something, and we can just we're just like, okay, we can just kill this guy. We don't have to think about it.
So I'll look into it. I'll look into more puppy killers down the line then.
Wait.
So what just happened? Why is Katori angry?
Cam says we don't have to kill Patton.
Gail said it won't be necessary to bring down Patton, and given that she didn't hear the whole conversation, she wasn't very happy with that even being said on her ship.
Considering how much their crew has gone through because of what we were doing. Feeling a little guilt.
Fun.